So, a very warm welcome to all you viewers of Universal Mentors Association, uh, presenting talkEd series, the eighth, season, the eighth episode of the talkEd series that we present, presented by Jnanamarga Technologies, powered by Brainwonders. Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivas and Mr. Naidu, for supporting this initiative of ours. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have some amazing speakers with us that will be talking, clear key focus would be on higher education, talking about upskilling, college students seeking IT careers, IT being one of the top employers or one of the top choices of students these days, especially when you're talking about the universities. It becomes really, really important if we discuss, how what are the options that are available in front of students uh, who are opting for IT careers. And to moderate this session, I think we couldn't find a better moderator than Dr. Shri Honward, who's the Vice Chancellor of Sri Padampat University. A huge round of applause for you, sir. Welcome and for joining us, joining this amazing panel discussion. We also have with us Dr. R.D. Patidar, who's the Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal University. We have Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, who's the Vice Chancellor of Sri Siddhartha University. Professor N.V. Ramana Rao, who's the Director of National Institute of Technology. Welcome, sir. We have Dr. Tankeshwar Kumar, who's the Vice Chancellor of Central University of Haryana. We have with us Mr. Manish Naidu, who is the founder of Brainwonders. Brainwonders, as you know, is into psychometric assessments, guiding the students in the correct direction in choosing their correct careers. A huge shout out to you, sir. And last but definitely not the least, Mr. Srinivas Bharadwaj, CEO and founder of Jnanamarga Technology. We also have with us Mr. Kishore. He's the industry expert. He has been a vice president from TCS. He's retired, but now a consultant with TCS. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining in this amazing panel discussion. Now, without further ado, I think when we have such stellar lineup of speakers, the last one to speak should be the organizer of this amazing panel discussion. So I let the panel rest in the good hands of Mr. Dr. Srihari to please take away this amazing panel away. Thank you so much, sir, and I'll join you once the session is over.
Thank you, Sandeep. I think we are all indebted to the Universal Mentors Association for getting us together. And I see at least six experts who know things better than me. That's the reason I have been asked to moderate so that I don't grind my own axe. Uh, I will do the introduction part, and I request all my colleagues here in this panel, co-panelists, to stick to the major points they want to make. Since there are six of you, we have an hour. I suppose if I take away 5 6 minutes for myself, we will all be left with 7 to 8 minutes each. Let's divide it into 5 minutes of the first round and 2 minutes concluding round. Uh, if if you all agree. IT careers, I believe, ever since the Y2K bug, caught the imagination of the world, Indian students have been seeking IT careers. It became a body shopping event, and when all the body shop, talent was Bangalore back, there have been waves and waves of different innovative IT opportunities coming, and for everybody who thought this IT boom will burst, I think IT has really been changing its colors practically by the hour, if you allow me to use that phrase. We have had several which keep telling us that our graduates are unemployable on one end, and on the other end, the industry keeps saying that there is so much of opportunity, they can accommodate so many more students, but they just don't find the right people. Probably the time old tradition of picking up students and training them is dying, because the training phase is it's expected to becomes shorter and shorter, and industry is not in a position to grow its own talent, if I may use that phrase. So to begin with, I would like to invite Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan to help us understand what kind of skills the industry is looking at, so that then we will go to all the experts with me who are creating this talent, Dr. Ramana Rao, Dr. Bala Shetty, and Professor Tankeshwar. And finally, we will go to people who are working with universities. And the last, but the most important bit is people who are counseling students, who understand the student mindsets. And then we will go for a second round if you all agree. Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan, may I request you to give us all a 5-minute recount of how this industry has changed, and what is it that the industry is looking at in a new employee whom they would like to hire. Mr. Padmanabhan, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Srihari. I welcome this opportunity to address this, as Mr. Gulati said, August panel. It's really very uh, heartwarming to be able to talk to the leading university controllers, if I may. And it is very so. The IT industry itself, at least in India, um, is really booming tremendously. Uh, it is what the industry really needs. Okay, there is a certain number amount of skills required. You need to be able to understand coding, understand Java, understand Python, maybe, and at least have basic skills in that area. But very much more than these skills, which we in the past have seen that people pick up in a week, 2 weeks type thing. It's not terrible. Some of this can be learned on the fly. It is very much more important to understand one, the domain, the ability to try and get um, the ability to be communicate with customers in a way they understand and understand their requirements. I did my MTech from IIT Kanpur, and sorry, IIT Madras, and went to join TCS. And I thought I was a hotshot programmer, a very clever, and close to a topper in Madras and so on. But it turned out that I had very few skills in any domain. I didn't know banking, I didn't know any of the other things. And I didn't know how to acquire knowledge in all those areas from customers. So this is one part of the equation. the ability to communicate and understand from customers. Second part of the thing is, even if you are a great programmer, you need to work in a team. And how do we work together? How do we provide scale is a very, very important problem. And what software has grown from the, let's say, 50s or 60s to now is in the ideas of using software processes to be able to try and scale it up. If you ask an engineer to go build a bridge, he would be, you would definitely not accept suddenly a brick falling from the bridge, or some other piece of something else falling, and so on. When I graduated, which was a long time ago, it was common practice to say, hey, these are bugs. They never called them errors, they called them bugs, as though they were very cute little animals that are floating around in your code, which are interesting but not serious. This is the equivalent of a brick falling in your house suddenly in one bedroom. And people would, I mean, have learned to try and not accept this, and made software an engineering discipline by which you can predict when something will get done, you can predict the quality of what it is, and you can say that this will happen. There are a whole series of techniques to ensure that this happens. And knowledge of these techniques, I'll just throw some. It's called a software development life cycle. And things like agile, pair programming, so on and so forth, are very, very common nowadays. In the older days, it used to be the waterfall method and so on. But we need to be able to get what the customer wants quickly. And the reason for the quickness is that customers keep changing their minds. It's We found out that it's not only women who have the prerogative of changing their minds. We found out that customers very frequently do. So understanding the ability to give stuff quickly and to have an iterative process with the customer is a very critical thing. And that, again,
Wonderful, sir. If I may interrupt, uh, you have hit the nail on the head. You have said these coding skills are on one hand, which keep changing. Sometimes we say Java, and by the time we teach them Java, it's Python. When we teach Python, it's something else. But the most important thing which is missing, as you rightly pointed out, is the communication skills, the team skills, human interaction skills, and customer interaction skills, and those additional project management techniques. You may want to call it agile or PMI certifications, etc., etc., which are very, very important. I will come back to you after we have had a round, but let's hear it from people who design a 4-year program. And this 4-year program, there is a lot of need not to change it during those 4 years. When the technological changes happen within months, the kind of difficulties we in the universities face. We have three vice chancellors and heads of the directors of the institutes. I'm sure they have a lot of light to throw on the kind of students we get, the attitudinal problems, their aptitudes, and how we are trying to cope up with this fast changing requirements from the industry. Let's start with Dr. Ramana Rao, followed by Dr. Bala Shetty and Professor Tankeshwar, in that order. Please take 5 minutes. Let's restrict ourselves to 5 minutes, because we may be actually eating into somebody else's time, and be very precise, sir. And let's start with Dr. Ramana Rao. Please, sir. What
Thank you.
are
Yeah,
your views on the?
thank you, Dr. Srihari. I think the most important responsibility we all of us have is to provide the right skills to foster employability, to make the students ready for the jobs of the future. This is something very important keyword, because there are a lot of things which are changing very fast, and most of the curriculum is not updated. So we need to upskill our students by introducing courses which are actually more relevant to the jobs of the future. We have to inspire young generation to become makers and innovators, and definitely today most of the universities and institutes have transformed their education and research through a strong connection with industry. I'd also like to mention that what is now important for all of us to inculcate in the students, apart from the soft skills, is also the hard skills. Soft skills like collaboration, adaptability, active learning, ethics, critical thinking, all this creativity, complex problem solving has become very, very important, apart from the hard skills such as innovation, robotics, data analytics. Most of this we are actually giving them as short-term courses, mostly from industry who want to upgrade systems modeling, project management, additive manufacturing, simulation, digital transformation, digital fluency, and lean manufacturing. So these are several topics where we have identified in connection with industry what are the skills that the students could need to foster employability. In fact, we have seen there are several industry renaissance trends like digital twin, systems engineering, smart factories are coming. We have smart cities. We have a lot of innovation in every field. We have renewable energy field. Then we have logistics and supply chain. So we also understand that unless we upskill or reskill or whatever you would like to call our students, definitely their employability is at question. So we need to make sure that they are ready for the jobs of the future, they are employable, and they get better things, better salaries, and better opportunities. Not only that, many of these technologies are changing very fast. So today, we can't change our curriculum so frequently. So therefore, there's a need for us now to to introduce soft skills which are not considered so important, but now they are important, like adaptability, flexibility, effective communication, teamwork, dependability, conflict resolutions, leadership, problem solving, research, creativity, worth ethics, and integrity. And there are several hard skills also that we are trying to inculcate into our students. And I'm sure all this is going to take a lot of advantages, like the hard skills, like what we call as programming just now, or earlier speaker mentioned. Then we have things like statistical analysis, data mining, and then mobile development, user interface design, marketing campaigns. So all these things are become very important, and we at the university levels also have started conducting short-term certificate courses in tune with the National Education Policy 2020 to impart these skills, so that our students are not only our students, the industry also. We have now a lot of industry persons coming back to us for upgrading their skills. Thank you very much.
Dr. Bala Shetty, please add to this discussion, sir.
Thank you, Shri Prakash. Thank you, Ramana Rao. Yes, skill is a word which is making a lot of sound in higher education, starting from the student up to the prime minister to the president of this country, are talking about skill, upskill, reskill. I don't know all these skilling words, but how seriously we are working towards to take it forwards, I really do not understand. Because if in higher education we talk about number one academics, number two skilling, number three research and innovation. As far as academics is considered, I know students as well as teachers will, as well as the parents will force you to do perform very well in the academics. As far as the industry is considered, they want our students to be skillful. As far as the university ranking, accreditation, and all those things nonsense is considered, we want them research, innovation, publication. The ecosystem says publish or perish. I really don't know. We need to do academics. We need to skill ourselves, or we need to publish and take our university to different levels. And this ranking system has highly confused everybody. I don't know what should I tell my student. Do you do research? I don't know what should I tell my faculty. You do research, or you teach, or you see that my students are skilled. See, this is the biggest confusion what higher education is undergoing now. We really don't know. We just talk about skilling, skilling, skilling. I tell you, my one of my students, because of Corona, she had undergone classroom teaching for hardly 2 years. Almost for 2 years, they were not within the classroom. It was our faculty members who wanted to hold on to our students within the classroom, within the 4 concrete halls. And I would like to say it is a blessing in disguise that Corona brought us, so that our students are ultimately liberated from the classrooms, which is one good thing which has happened. Today, students at home, and they learn much more than what the faculty are teaching in the classrooms. She was just for 2 years, she attended the engineering class. And after that, she got into JP Morgan, almost, she was a computer science for that model, and her salary was almost like 2 lakhs. And even before she could finish her 4 years of computer science, she got into Microsoft for a salary of 4 lakhs. What I'm going to tell is, first of all, again, I will tell you, release the student from the 4 concrete halls of the classrooms, number one. And our student can read and study much better at home. And if you are talking about skill, you tell them, and avoid this attendance. Don't take attendance in the classroom. Let the students have their own skill, so they can upskill much better than what we can tell them. My technology, my knowledge of technology is much inferior compared to my student in the classroom. They know much more than me. So we should know that they are ready to get the skills, but we are the ones, we are holding them out. So actually, I'm telling you, academics, we are focusing so much into academics, and that was a British culture. British wanted our children to be, they wanted to be just glorified clerks. They never wanted our children to be intellectual. So that was a classroom teaching. From Gurukul teaching, we went to classroom teaching because of the British, because they wanted more and more clerks and more and more soldiers to fight in the wars. They just wanted Indians to be clerks, never intellectuals. So we as faculty members never motivated our students to become intellectuals. And you see our students, how they perform outside the country. They go to UK, they go to US, they become the CEO of the topmost software company, Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. You take any company, you take NASA, you take the major hospitals in outside, our students are performing very well. The question is whether the seed is wrong, or the seed is bad, or the soil is bad. I don't have any hesitation in telling that our soil is very, very bad, and our seed is really good. It is very, very fertile. It is good. It can perform anywhere. It can perform in this earth and outside the earth also. We need to motivate our students. We need to give time for them to skill up. That is the most important point I would like to say. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Professor Tankeshwar, your views, sir?
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. The topic today is upskilling college students seeking IT careers. No, I think my previous panelist has very rightly said, and we are to see that how we can give them skill which is not there otherwise in the classroom, right? Otherwise, it is not in the classroom. So we are to give some extra skills because it is a IT career, and the technologies keep on changing. So if we make as per the syllabi, we will not be able to give the skills which are required in the market at the time of his or her appointment. So we have to really give them the extra skilling. So that is what we look at as a upskilling. and that is a kind of a program. When we say we design, we give a freedom for electives and things like that, and for the training placement cells and so on. We can give the kind of training, and nowadays we know that various things are coming up, and we have, for example, somebody listed it as ABCD, FGH, and so on. They are very, A for artificial intelligence, and I for something like IoT and things like that. B for blockchain, and C for cyber security, D for data science, and these are the things which are coming up. I mean, E for like extended reality and something like that. There are things like that. Somebody said that all these things up to I are required, and for that, we are to train our students. And I really feel that it is. I agree with Dr. Bala Shetty ji that our students are very smart, but we are to really look for the students those are not smart, right? We have to also provide the training to those students who are not smart, but we everybody may not have the resources. If we're looking at the being from the government university, so we have to really look for such students where we can provide the training, in-house training in the colleges or the universities, to the all these I said the important topic which are required by the industry. But I can also sense in the, for example, in India, we are we are into the, so far have been into the software engineering, software companies are the software, what are the softwares. But today things may change in the near future, because the country is going for the big semiconductor things, where the cabinet itself has approved something like 73 crores, maybe 73,000 of crores, and the companies may come up where you really need to design the the products, or the ICs, or maybe that maybe how the things where you really we can say it is electronic design job, but still we can say that the IT industry has to work for it, because we may be then able to launch more of IoT products in the market through the use of the electronics. So that is the way I see that our students should have the that kind of skill. It's obvious that our students should have all these soft skill, and the communication and team skills has to be there with the students. But providing the different kind of the marketable skills is the essential. And nowadays we also talk about, when we talk about the every institute may be having some innovation and incubation centers, so they may be given an opportunity to to really work on work on such things where they can make something model out of things, whether it is based on the IoT, whether it is based on the cyber security, or things like that. So there are a lot of job opportunities will be there for the, because if I look at the India, and if I look at the America, and if I look at the application of the IT in the common life, I don't see it is it is there in all the field, but it is there in many of the things. We can talk out the reservation and things like that, but it is still lacking. And we, even our education institutes are not fully computerized, or we say it's not I would say not based on our what we call as EPS system or things like that. So if we look at the technology which is, I will say, is being implemented in our India in every part of life, is still too far. Without we have the software, a lot of software companies which provides maybe the software to the America and so on, but we are lacking. So there will be lot of jobs available to the computer, but we have to really make them capable. And I will say the capable, they should be competitive, and we should also know how to judge their competitiveness. And I know there are various institute maximum degrees are given in the computer field, but still they don't get the job. But those who are good, they get the job in the maybe in the range of 1 crore per year. So they have, that is a lot of difference. So the difference is essentially in their caliber and upskilling. So it is very important that we should choose the different areas of skilling and try to provide them. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramana Rao, Dr. Bala Shetty, and Dr. Tankeshwar. You have not only kept the time, but have really laid open exactly what the problem is. To summarize, I can see the pain we all face. We are working with an equation and we wanted to converge, and this equation involves teachers who were trained yesterday using skill sets which were available day before yesterday, uh, and we want to train students today for the skills required, frankly speaking, tomorrow. And I don't see how this equation can converge unless it's our teachers who are able to learn faster than students, which is unlikely to happen considering the age differences. It's important, like Dr. Shetty said, let the students alone. I mean, when we were young, there was uh, this song which said, "Leave the students alone, leave them out of the brick walls." I think I heard Dr. Bala Shetty say precisely the same song, and it's important that when both teacher and the student are learning from the same resources, the teacher can at best be a facilitator, and not try to tie down the student to his ideas and his views, uh, uh, considering the student really can learn much faster. And with this problem, let me invite somebody who works with institutes for creating the IT upskilling. Mr. Srinivas Bharadwaj, how do you think industry can come in and play a role in this very important job of upskilling our students, so that they are industry ready, because that's what industry wants. They just don't have the time to upskill them on their premises. They want the students to it's like hit the road running, kind of a thing. Mr. Srinivas Bharadwaj, your 5 minutes start now, sir.
Thank you very much. Firstly, thanks for a wonderful panel, and we really appreciate everyone's presence here. It's a great panel. So, at Jnanamarga, we look at the skill gap. You know, what the industry wants and what is available for a particular from a particular student. Now there are different types of students. There are students who come with a CS degree. And who then join in the IT field. You know, then there are students who have a wonderful, say, engineering degree, maybe a civil engineering degree. The student has studied mechanical engineering. He could build you a bridge if you wanted. But then the job that the IT industry looks for is they look for a set of they look against a template, and that against that template they see if this student can come and fit. And so when you have an intelligent student, very good seed, and you need to take that seed and plant it in a new area. As to go with Dr. Shetty's Bala Shetty's analogy, right? What you need to do is then you have to a little bit ready the area as well, little bit, and also the seed to acclimatize itself to the particular soil. And so to do that, we have a 7 course framework. Our 7 course framework includes 3 courses which in Java, which which finally take the student to where he is capable of doing Spring, he is capable of doing Kafka, he is capable of doing the latest in CI/CD, etc. So we do that three course framework in Java. We have the analytics framework where we start the student with Python, but then he is finally doing AI/ML using Python, and he is also understands business problems along the way. Then we also have a course for front end programming, so he can do Android, and a lot of people can do Android if they've had a course in front end programming. But then to do React Native, etc., so that he has that as well. Then we also teach a little bit of e-commerce, and what is today in vogue in e-commerce, which is PHP and databases in multiple forms. So that seven course framework, we are looking to have that fit into existing curriculum, so that a existing curriculum can meet the skills gap that is needed today in the industry. So now we want to little bit reorient these programs also to include some amount of blockchain, also to include some amount of IoT, etc., so that you have students who can little bit customize based on their own interests as well. So our course is aimed at complementing what is available in college, but meeting the skills that are needed by industry. And we, of course, we do use a lot of NPTEL. We use NPTEL to provide some say background in databases, background in software engineering, etc. But then our aim is to take is to meet the skill gap between what the student would require when he hits the ground running in industry, and what he comes with. A lot of students come with great skills, great analytical skills, great capabilities, and hard work, and all three are extremely important, we believe, for students to succeed today.
Bharadwaj, you had a video to be played. I will come back to that video once we have our counselor who handles these students who are, I suppose, trying to get into IT careers. I'm sure you must be, Mr. Naidu, you must be handling students who are graduates of non-IT programs who also want to get into IT careers. So, what is it that you see amongst these students? Is it just a lust for easy and good money, or do you see something more? And what is it that you would like to advise by way of what is it that institutes or the universities can be looking uh, at students uh, and give us a picture of what you see it out there, because we have had a large number of students who don't want to do IT, but they are into that, and they're trying to they're struggling to cope up with the needs. Mr. Naidu, your 5 minutes, sir.
Dr. Shri, wonderfully put, and you have set us all up on a very tight leash with respect to the timing. So it's really a great panel to move in. There's a lot of interesting case studies. For example, right from Kishore to Professor P. Ramarao and Dr. Shankreshwara, everybody has similar opinion with respect to skill sets and what has to be taught and what not has to be taught. We deal with primarily 1,200 schools with our 100 odd centers across the country. So we patent a test called genetic intelligence test, where we take biometric scans. A 24-page report is generated, and then we counsel and we try to understand the innate potential of the child. I'll be putting up a question because this YouTube is also going to get relayed to almost 1,300 schools and potential 60,000 kids who would want to venture into the IT domain. Yes, a question which is there is that with the gap between the employable skills and the academic profile of the students increasing day by day, how does one understand the deficit skill and how do we intervene it? What is the right way to intervene into this particular alignment? You have industry experts like Mr. Srinivas, who is trying to get the industry experts. Dr. Bala rightly said that let's move them outside the particular wall. Mr. Kishore said that communication and team spirit is something which is so much really needed for somebody to move in. And you yourself have said that we unfortunately or fortunately or to teaching to a brilliant set of students, preparing them with the skill sets what we have learned yesterday, preparing for them for the future, which even they do not know what sort of skill sets would exist. Uh, Probably all after 5 or 7 years, the only thing which will be remaining is probably we all will have to go to Mars and do something, and a gross motor intelligence might be needed. So the question out here is, why do kids get confused? Like a lot of people come to IT, like for example, Srinivas said that somebody who has done a CS wants to do engineering. Somebody who has done engineering wants to do a double MBA. I mean, if you wanted to do an MBA, why did you sit on a seat on engineering? So what happens is, unfortunately, there's a lot of peer or parental pressure on the children. Parents would want to live their dreams with the children. They would want to see their accomplishment either being fulfilled by the children, or the children should have one more step into it. Children themselves are confused. The rat race which Kota and the other small cities have made it has made the potential people not understand the need to understand their own genetic intelligence and move ahead. There is a very interesting book by Malcolm Gladwin which I quote. It's called 10,000 Hours. Okay, it's called The Outliers. So the difference between a normal child and a prodigy is 10,000 hours. That's how that there can be a difference. So each one of us is obviously a prodigy in making, but unfortunately we do not have the exposure and the skill set to do it. So what I propose, which we have been doing very successfully over the last 8 to 10 years, is that we identify the potential of the child right at the beginning of the onset of he entering into the college. Once he enters that, then over the next 4 years, we try to understand if the genetic intelligence and the aptitude and the interest and the personality, all four should be mapping to each other. And then we have close to 507 careers mapped to 11,000 colleges and 13,000 courses, out of which there are 57 careers in IT mapped to 108 industries. And there are few of the careers which parents come to us: enterprise resource planner, ethical hacker, video game designer, information security analyst, web system planner, and each one of it requires their own skill set of its own. Okay, and trust me, as vice chancellor and somebody who's doing so much for the students, there is only so much which you can do. Okay, so rather than trying to understand what we can't do, let's see what we can understand and do. Let's be an aggregator between the employer and the students, so that the skill set is being taught at maybe a second year, third year, fourth year. Internship starts moving in much more faster. Second, very importantly, right at the onset of the person or the child coming into the college, let's do a genetic mapping or let's do an aptitude testing. Let's try to understand where he's moving to. Maybe I have another 2 minutes of my fame, so I'll give you a quick two success stories we had. Manipal had an incubation center. So instead of the children moving out and doing a lot of ideas being thrown away, we did guide those kids in those incubation centers, and we tried to, obviously they were funded by Manipal, but we identified the potential of these young engineers, and that made the investors much more assured that yes, they are on the right way. Second, in non-IT, there is a university in Bombay which is called St. Francis. For them, we mapped these 23 careers in hotel domain industry, where everybody comes in, they look at Taj and they want to go and they feel that it's beauty, but only to realize that all you have to do is start as a doorbell boy. So identifying those 23 careers right at the beginning has ensured that there is very minimal outset of people who do not move out. So everybody run through their particular 4 years or 3 years, and then they get the jobs what they want, because they have been starting to understand the careers right at the beginning. So identification of the career, identification of the potential, identification of the strengths, working on the weakness. We do all this you have 4 years into the campus, and I think we have brilliant tutors who are going to make a difference. So yeah, doing a test, taking it forward is the way forward.
I think you put it very beautifully. I think it's worthwhile, doing a doing a mind map of students and continuously evaluate and then classify them based on attitudes, aptitudes, and identify.
Personality trait.
Mr.
Personality
Yeah,
traits.
Mr. Bharadwaj, can we play the video now? And when I come back, I would like to have Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan do a 2 minute, summarization and his additional views which he would like to do. We will have 2.5 minutes for Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan after the video, if we are able to play the video now.
So I don't know. Someone has to share the video into into what is being broadcast. Is it possible, Sandeep ji, Mr. Gulati, can you please share my? See, I've
The
shared my.
link, is it the link that you click, it will come?
Yeah, if somebody can do that,
Let me try. Let
let's
me try.
satisfy who wants to do that.
Let me try. Actually, I'm trying.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
The Jnanamarga IT certificate. Did it play?
The voice was playing, but we didn't see the.
Can see the screen. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that only if the if I'm allowed to become the presenter.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Someone.
all right. I think let's save the blushes for everybody. Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan, that gives you 3 minutes now to summarize and what you think of the discussions and add your advice to all of us who are in this interesting business. You will have to unmute yourself, sir.
I think it's been a fascinating discussion. I'll try and be a little more mindful of the time at this time, sir. The okay.
Looks like we are getting a video anyway. Somebody has managed to get the video on.
Yeah.
College students aspire for careers in the high-tech industry. This is a fast-growing industry. Nearly 47%, was half the highest in 2022. LinkedIn, and they should know as they are part of Microsoft, the world's largest IT company. To prepare students in IT, Jnanamarga has used its patented virtual overlay technology and built a 7-course IT program that involves 2 tracks, a Java track for full stack and backend development and a Python track for analytics and AI/ML. This 7 to 8 course program readies young aspirants for the rigors of IT employment, starting with the interview and teaching state-of-the-art software engineering skills as well as agile development and project management that are today a prerequisite for entry into IT. The 7 courses: data science with Python, data structures with Java, statistics for business programmers, front-end programming with Android and JavaScript, PHP development with SQL, back-end Java programming with Spring and Kafka, AI/ML for business analytics, ready students with projects as well as the necessary theory for the real world, based on freely available books and top quality NPTEL coursework. They mix hands-on development with the necessary theories students need today to make it in this fast-paced world. India today is reinventing education for the 21st century with NEP 2020. The pandemic is mostly behind us, but aspirations of students and their families remain. The Prime Minister and Shri Kasturi Rangan have placed big bets on hybrid learning, and they hope to provide a framework for facilitating credits through NET 2020. Join us for a meeting of the minds with top notch academics to help young aspirants graduating from college to build careers that make them build companies that make Indian IT the best in the world.
So, with that, it's my honor to now have a detailed demonstration of the platform itself.
This is a IT certificate application. Okay, and so there are around 7 courses which the student can take. Okay, and these are all the courses that we have. Okay, so now if the student selects any one course, for example, we'll go with this data science with Python, he'll be getting the list of all the main topics that will be covered within the course. Okay, and on click of this, he'll be getting the overview of all the topics as well as the subtopics. And if he selects any one topic here, so suppose he goes with this tuples, he'll be getting all the resources related to that topic. So resources in the sense there are these textbooks, slides, as well as the videos. Okay, so I'll go over them one by one. So if he selects textbook, what will happen is he'll be directly taken to that particular page number where that topic is. Okay, and similarly from here you can go and visit slides, so he'll get slides related to that topic. And finally he can watch the videos.
We have seen this kind of a simultaneous assignment where we take 3 names on the left and assign them to 3 values on the right, and we enclose these.
Okay, and after going through all this theory, the student can take the assessment test. Okay, so like we have questions sorted for each of the topics. Okay, and the student can like just answer them, and basically this test will be time bound test, mostly comprising of MCQ questions. Also, like he can navigate within the questions and like can answer any of them, and also like the question that he has already answered will be indicated to him. And finally, when he submits his test, he'll be given his score. Okay, along with the other details like how many are right answers, how many are wrong answers, and also like he can go and like view the solution. Okay, so if the answer is correct, he'll be shown this green tick mark over here, or if it's wrong, he'll be shown a cross mark. And also like the answer that he has like marked will be indicated in orange color, and the correct answer will be indicated in green color. Okay. Okay. So like also like we have like integrated this with the Moodle platform. So the student will find all the assignment related material inside the Moodle. Okay, so since I was in data science with Python course, I'll be directly taken to that particular course, where the student will find all the details regarding that course. Okay, for example, the assignments and all that, those are uploaded.
Now we will start with a
Thank you.
Moodle for IT certificate. As you see, we have to put username and password, which will be provided by us to all the teachers.
Looks
and
like
students.
it's a much
Once
longer
we
video
put
than
the
we
credentials,
anticipated.
You'll be able to log in and view the dashboard.
It will be over soon.
So in the dashboard, here you see all the courses allotted to the student or provided by the teacher, and you can select any of the courses which you are interested. Suppose you are opening this data science with Python, you'll be given all the details of about course, and also will be provided with all the assignments.
Yes. I would like to request the organizers to give me 3 minutes for Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan, which I had promised him, and to each of my vice chancellors at least 2.5 minutes each, uh, so that before we need to close. Otherwise, I think we are left with only 5 minutes. But I want this session to be extended by another 5 6 minutes so that everybody can put in their word. Mr. Padmanabhan sir, apologies for interruptions. Please, we are all yours now.
Yeah, I think the panelists have covered the topics very well. Just couple of suggestions. The need for skilling, the need. So one of the biggest things that seems to come out is adaptability is a big requirement. So we need to have a set of external courses such as was presented by Myanmar, which can be certified by the university and given credits for. I think something like that would satisfy a lot of the needs. This will also enable the students to pick different topics based on their interest, as the brain workers wonders suggested. I think I'll stop with that. I think universities have a challenge. This sort of technology of external courses accredited seems to provide partial answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Padmanabhan. Dr. Bala Shetty, I would like you to summarize the discussions and add your views, uh, and take the next 3 minutes because we now have time till 5:30.
Yes, what I would like to say that we should be very, very categorical in your higher education. Is it academics? Is it skill? Is it research and innovation? We cannot dump everything to the student. It is very, very difficult to manage all the three issues. Like your parents would like you to score marks, and your industry would like you to have the skills, and your accreditation bodies would like to have you the ranking. See, these things are very, very difficult. So let us be very, very clear cut. It is very easy to speak about skilling. How often we'll keep on talking about skilling? We should do something. We always say we have diarrhea of suggestions, but serious constipation of implementing these suggestions. We need to implement the suggestions which we talk about in all these webinars. Let us give the time. Let us give the energy. Let us have the motivation for the students to skill. Our faculty members do not want our students to be skilled up or whatever, because they don't have the skills. So that barrier has to be broken at the earliest. That's what I would like to say.
Wonderfully put, sir. Dr. Ramana Rao?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I think I would just like to summarize by saying that what we need to do is just we cannot make the students tailor-made for every job, So what we need to do, inculcate in them is analytical skills, critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, decision-making skills, and also research and development. That is very, very important. I am sure that flexibility is the key now today. So we have also, as per the national education policy, revised our curriculum so that students can choose different majors and minors. So today somebody was telling civil engineer is also going for IT, mechanical engineer is going for IT, because IT has now almost every domain it has captured, and it makes use of experts from all domains. So the flexibility in the curriculum in choosing the major and minor courses. So we have a civil engineering with major and a minor in say artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, blockchain. So this is what is happening in institutes like us, and it's vigorously being and very popular among the students, because ultimately the student, as rightly said by Professor Shetty, teachers want research but students want employment. So we have to have a balance. But what we are trying to do is we are trying to only inculcate in them the analytical skills, the critical thinking skills, the problem solving skills, the decision making skills, and of course, research and development skills. So, with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Professor Tankeshwar,
Yes. Yes, I just want to add up here that we should have a strong tie up with the industries so that for example, if I say that they want this much that skill, they should come into the university and the train. Or what they can have is okay if they are in certain cities, our student can go there and do that because. If I look at that, the skilling arrangement in other countries, even in the schooling vocational studies, the student goes 3 days to the school, 2 days to the industry or the skilling agencies, right? So that is a kind of arrangement they have. So maybe we have to really go to that extent that where the industry can become our partner for educating the students, or we say for training the students for their industries. So that is what I wanted to add.
I think what my colleagues are saying is that universities can put the foundation, the techniques which are needed for learning, and some of the flavors which are long lasting. We can make them lifelong learners, but then the skilling is something which the industry has to bring in, because the time invariant knowledge and skills, it's easy for the universities to focus on. It's not very easy for the universities to build horses for the races. Horses for the races thing will have to come from, like Professor Tankeshwar said, an industry intervention. This is a relay race. The student comes from is handed over from the schools to the higher education system, and the higher education system passes them on to the industry. And as it happens in the relay race, the next runner, you know, has to come back so that he can pick up the baton way ahead of his starting. I'm sure even the universities may have to do that by entering into the 10+2 systems and see if we can build in some of the things which we are forced to redo in the universities today, especially the building up of the fundamentals. For example, we again once again teach them the same physics and the chemistry and the mathematics they have learned. And some of these things, if we could push them back, I'm sure that will give us more space for our training. And if the industry can enter in, and we can still win this race, is what I'm thinking we should do. Before I come to Mr. Bharadwaj to give his 2 minutes of how best he can, make these horses for the races, I would like to pose a thought process for Mr. Naidu also. In this race where everybody is flocking for an IT career, is India as a nation going to suffer from lack of talent for the non IT part of our ecosystem? Are we going to suffer that? Mr. Naidu, I would like to bank on it. We have 2 minutes with Mr. Srinivas, followed by another 2 minutes with Manish Naidu. After that, I can have Sandeep coming back into the discussions.
Okay. I think Mr. Srinivas, you started. Yeah.
Okay, let me start. One possible answer to this question is maybe in the sixth semester you have the students start like a program like what we have, and then in as part of the summer after the sixth semester you have the student go to an actual industry, continue 1 or 2 classes while he's working in during the summer 3 4 months, like an extended summer. And during that time, he is in the industry, he is working with as an apprentice, and he is also taking some classes. And then in his seventh semester, he then completes his 3 semester vocational training, which includes a summer in an actual work environment. So this sixth and seventh semester straddled with a big summer in industry. This is a formula that can be added into programs, and you can give credit as part of this for his summer visit as well, into the industry. So he goes to, say, Facebook, or he goes to Oracle in Hyderabad. He goes to maybe work in another industry in Bangalore, or TCS in Chennai. And so as part of the program, he does this. Or if they are in, say, petroleum engineering, they go to Jamnagar, and they get trained there. So it could be added in, and this program can be placed inside the eight semester program for students. So coming out, they have seen industry, they have had the mental flexibility to then be part of that, like need the communication skills, and also they have it in their resume. Resume is very important for students. Many students, when they come out, they want to be able to show some amount of industry and entry and apprenticeship, so that the industry will then accept them. Yes, oh, you've been in Jamnagar, you're good enough for me in ONGC. So that kind of a model, we need to look at going into the next this decade, and it should be implementable, I feel, with NEP. And we would like to be part of that exciting programs with the various universities, and we are looking for that opportunity to introduce our IT certificate, so that it is part of a apprenticeship, and it is part of industry enablement for the student, and for his eventual success.
Mr. Naidu, I think we have closed down this session. How do you think we can direct students to non-IT domains so that they become experts in non-IT domains, and they can actually be a wonderful customer for IT applications in these so-called non-IT domains? Mr. Naidu.
You want to hit 3 4 bullets at the same time. like everybody seems to be pursuing their own agenda. Dr. Ramana Rao said that the university pursues research, the parents pursue academics, and the industry pursue employability skills. Okay, so who is going to take care of the children's agenda is something which we'll all have to sit and think about it. But yes, I think identification of the intelligence parameter at an early stage is the only early intervention is only going to help bridge the gap. Because ultimately, the problem with allowing industries into the system is they will definitely have their own agendas to push, and we do not know if those agendas are probably mirrored with our students. I think somebody is talking. But yes, I think early intervention, identifying non-IT skills at the early stage, so that the IT people, once they move out, they will have a lot larger career goals, and they will have larger kids to cater to, or students to cater to, is the way ahead. But I think let's focus on our own agendas of keeping the students' agenda at the primary focus, and I think we all will be doing wonderfully well. Thanks a lot. And thanks to you to be such a wonderful moderator. My earlier
I
tutors
know
were.
I'm looking like a good moderator because of the cooperation of my co-panelists, Dr. Ramana Rao, Mr. Kishore Padmanabhan, Dr. Bala Shetty, Professor Tankeshwar, and Mr. Srinivas Bharadwaj. You have really added a lot to my knowledge, and if I'm looking good, it's thanks to the contributions of all of you together. I must therefore thank Mr. Sandeep for making me the moderator. I thought by making me the moderator, he is stopping
I think Sir's voice has got stuck. So I
Can
think
you hear
your
me now?
voice
Yeah,
now we can hear you.
there was a glitch somewhere. Uh, so can you hear me now? Let me just say I am indebted to my co-panelists for enhancing my knowledge. I hope together we have put in a good program for Mr. Sandeep. I must thank Sandeep for allowing me to be part of this August panel. It has really been a value add for me, at least. I must thank each one of my co-panelists individually and collectively for the wonderful cooperation and the intellectual inputs they have given me. Sandeep, we are all yours now, and I'm
Thank
going
you so much, sir.
to
I think this was such a wonderful panel. But before I let anybody go, I have a couple of questions that were asked on our social media platform, and these were directed to, I think, Srinivas. So the first question came at the very beginning, where while you were talking about the certificates, IT certificate courses that you were doing, that you're speaking about. Were these designed by the industry experts, or were these, how were these, certificates came into existence? And the second question that I've got on my WhatsApp from a student is, will you be providing, the internship programs alongside with your IT certificates that you're providing?
So we did take input from a variety of industry experts. I live in Silicon Valley, and here there is no dearth of IT business here. So I took a lot of input from various executives, and also from people who are more hands-on, people who hire, people who look for the skills, people in the recruitment field. You know, who do IT recruiting. Here, a lot of recruiting is IT recruiting. So I took a lot of this input, and then we designed the course, because we couldn't make a very large course. Also, we also had a partner catalog, and we still do. Which we can add to enhance the course material to fit any larger program as well. But then the 7 course program, we did want to make it not too small but not too big. And so we had to look at the two trade off the two parts of what industry wants with the skill gap. And so what industry wants with the skill gap, that finally decided the 7 course program. And we took liberally from what we could from free books, in terms of ebooks, and also from material available in nptel. And so, using these two, we then crafted these 7 courses, and then we now, use those to take students from where they are to where the IT industry wants. And what was the second question?
The second question, while we were talking about, I think the industry placements, or the internship, especially
internships.
for students.
Internship.
Yes.
Yes. So that is very something that we are very, very interested in. We don't yet have the full framework for that, but we would like to have that. We would like to be able to have some coursework provided to the student, then have the student spend time in industry and continue some of the coursework, and then return for some more coursework afterwards, and then graduate, and then have that industry experience. So we are looking for those partners. We have spoken to a few companies I've spoken with Wipro, I've spoken with a couple of companies, but we are looking to build that portfolio of large employers, particularly in the Indian context, so that they come in, they absorb the student for the 3 months. The student has a place to stay, he maybe gets a little funding in terms of money, and he does some actual work. So all three through a small internship, and so that then he we would like to have that as part of our program as well, so that and we see that fit into the NEP 2020 program. So that is one very important addition that we want to have to the Jnanamarga IT certificate, that it be part of their internship, and then they come away with the work skill. They are there, they've done it, they've seen CICD, means they've seen CICD, they've done done real work and seen the real world. And then when they go back, there's not somebody industry says, oh, these people, they come with nothing, they have just been in college and eating samosas there. No, we don't want that. They've eaten the samosas in your cafeteria as well. So that is the preferred solution that we feel.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I think these were the two questions that were posted by the audience. And this was such an amazing panel. Thank you, Dr. Shri Honward, sir. Sir, it is always an honor to have you on the platform of Universal Mentors Association. And, your moderation is a notch apart from the rest of the moderators that we usually have. So I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us for this amazing session. I would also like to thank Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, who is the Vice Chancellor of Sri Siddhartha University, Professor N.V. Ramana Rao, Director, National Institute of Technology, Dr. Tankeshwar Kumar, who is the Vice Chancellor of Central University, Haryana, uh, Mr. Manish Naidu, founder, Brainwonders, being a rock for Universal Mentors Association, have done some really amazing work in the K-12 and higher education, and also in the corporate segment. So a lot of connections, if the university partners are looking for a lot of corporate world as well, Manish sir is the person to look out for. And we this whole session, I think, was supported by Srinivas Bharadwaj ji, who's the CEO and founder of Jnanamarga Technologies. Thank you so much for joining in, for supporting this initiative of ours, the Talking Education series. And last but not the least, the industry expert, Kishore Padmanajan sir. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thorough experience of the industry and what the student needs to actually do, especially in the IT sector. Thank you so much for your valuable comments, and sharing and thank you for sharing your knowledge with the audience of Universal Mentors Association. With this, I think we are putting an end to the 8th episode of Talking Education, powered by Brainwonders, presented by Jnanamarga Technologies. Until next time, we'll have some more prominent educationists speaking about a lot of other topics on this amazing session. Please support us, requesting all the speakers and the audience to please do subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more knowledgeable videos and sessions that we'll be bringing in week after week. Thank you so much and have a wonderful
Thank you, Sandeep.
day.
Thank you.
It was a
And
great
thanks everybody once again.
Thank you.
thank you.